Assalamu alaikum, I'm Nahi and Noor Neha. So first of all, to make this project, we have to create the floor and the object. To make the object, we added rectangular arena here. Then we going to transform and let's say we want to add a cylinder. So in the children part, we have to add shape, then make the appearance and material on, and then we have to go to the geometry part, and there we have to add the height and radius. Then we need to add collision. Then we have to right click that and make the transform to solid. Then we have to go to the bounding objects and base nodes and make it cylinder, and we have to make sure then the height and radius of in the bounding object and the geometry cylinder are the same. And then we need to add the physics letter, and like that we have added all other objects, as you can see in our project. So thank you.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. This is Jahan Sultan. The part I'm going to cover is about how I have created the robot using robots. For creating the robot, I needed to go to the business using this plus sign, and then I have to add robots. And after that, I went to the children under the robots and used and chose shapes from the business and renamed it to body. Then I have to change the appearance to PPR appearance, which will help to determine its visual properties, and then change its color to any color. From here, for here this is light green. Now for geometry null, I have given it a box. Then from geometry box, we have created we have changed its dimension. From bounding object, we use body, and then we added physics to this, so that the inertia, center of mass, and all the properties of the physics will be applied to this box. So the body of the robot has been completed. Since I wanted our robot to be able to move, so that's why we have used wheels. So for the wheels, I went to the basics and selected hinge joints and joint parameters too. We know that hinge joints are necessary to give rotational motion, and after that I went to from the device, I went to the rotational. I want to select the rotational motor, which is used to generate rotational motion around the hinge axis. And from the endpoint, we selected a solid and gave it a shape. After that, we also gave it a cylindrical shape and a proper height and radius too. And from the endpoint solid, we also changed its translation and rotation so that it will remain vertical to the ground. I repeated the same process all over for all the other three wheels, but this time I didn't start from scratch. Instead, I actually went to hinge joint and then hinge parameters and used first wheel for the rest of the three wheels by copying and pasting them. So for creating the distance sensor, we have added the distance sensor from the base notes, and then in the children subsection of the distance sensor, we have added a shape for visualizing the sensor, and the appearance is chosen to be PPR appearance, as well as the geometry is chosen to be a box. If we look at the part of our robot, we have got two distance sensors which are slightly rotated to the right and left, and by setting translations and rotation. We have also added collision properties and physics to this. That's all from me. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Sanyal Puja. So I will be covering the GPS and camera part of our robot. So firstly, for GPS, I have attached the GPS under the children section of our robot, and here we can see the GPS. I have changed the translation, rotation, and scaling of the GPS, and also I have given a cylindrical shape in the geometry section of our robot and gave it an appearance which is PBR appearance. And for camera, I have also attached the camera inside the children section of our robot. And firstly, for the camera, I attached my camera in between the distance sensors. Here we are able to see our camera in between the distance sensors so that the camera can capture the environment. I went to the robot section, then children, robot section. Here we are able to see the robot section of our robot building, and then children, and gave it a solid shape. Then I selected camera module. I changed the translation, rotation, and scaling according to my need. Then to have a clear resolution, I have increased the height and width of the camera. I changed my field of view 1 just to have a bigger view. Here, just to have a bigger view, I have made the field of view 1. Then after that, as our robot is object recognizing robot, that's why to recognize the objects, this is why I made certain changes in recognition part. I gave my maximum range 100 so that it can recognize within 0 to 100 range. Maximum objects I have made -1 so that it can detect infinite number of objects. If we have given a certain value like 3, then it would have been only detected 3 objects. I have made the occlusion true. It means if there is multiple objects, it can see those objects which are behind other objects too. Actually, in these objects, I have created, I have added the recognition color red. That's why we can see the red boxes on each object since the camera is recognizing them. If we simulate this, we are able to see that this object is being recognized by the robot. And when an object will come in front of the robot, it will automatically change its direction. That's it for me. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Rahman Alif and today I will be explaining the coding part of our project. So to run this code I will be selecting the controller, and from here I will be selecting my controller and OK. So at first we are importing robot and camera from the controller, and we are setting the time step to 64 milliseconds, and we are creating instances of robot and camera and passing the name of our camera in this case. And this camera in every 64 millisecond it will feed an image into the camera, and also this will be able to recognize the objects too. In these DS names, we are defining our two sensors, which is sensor 1 and sensor 2, and these DS sensors will give us updates in every 64 milliseconds of object detection. And this wheels names, we are defining our wheels, which is wheel 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are setting the set position of wheels to infinity so that our robots can run up to infinity. And also we are setting the initial velocity to 2. And when the so at first the avoid obstacle counter is 0, and when the robot detects any when the robot or DS sensor detects any object, this basically give us a value which is less than 950, and the avoid obstacle counter will be set to 100. And then this we can go to in this if condition, which is avoid obstacle counter is now greater than 0. So when the robot detects any object, it will rotate right. So this way the robot will work, and the wheel 0 is basically in this case is wheel 3. This is how the array works, and the left speed right speed will be associated with this wheels. Thank you so much.